Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, doesn't really matter what you drive. What does today, because we're going to talk some mid-size trucks. And right, it's been a minute. It's been almost a month and a half, I think, since I've done a mid-size truck live, and I wanted to get back with you guys because, for one, I just got back from dealing with the all-new Tacoma, and I have some opinions of that. And I like to reach out to you guys, and we like to play with this show, especially we play with the times, trying to figure out the right time to do this show. So we will go from there. As you can see, I'm co-hostless today, except for we have, bring it in, we've got doggo cam, we got dog and cat cam there today. So sometimes they like to join in. I don't think they speak much, but mostly the cat annoys the dog. The dog doesn't want the cat to stay there with him. And as you can see, he turns his head. He's like, no. Cat's like, I love you so much. Please love me back. And, well, this is what we get. So, welcome to Midsize Trucks Live. Oh, man. We've, like I said, we got back from a 4-day press trip. We did 2 events in Texas. We did the State Fair of Texas, and then we covered Toyota had some stuff going on there. All the majors have a booth there, but this year was kind of a dull. It was kind of there was just not a ton going on there, but is what it is. What's up, Nurse AJ? How is the foot? The foot is sore. The foot is real sore. So I had I believe it was a locust tree. I stepped on a thorn. It was a good 1.25 inches thorn, and went deep into my foot yesterday. And well, yeah, hurts like hell. But anyways, what's up, Eric Jefferson, Michael Cooper? Oh, but we will get into some truck news here. But like I said, we're playing with times on this show, especially once I get to go full time on this. I definitely will be more steady. But I know my buddy Tim's down in Texas again. He had to fly back to Texas for I don't know if it's GMC or who's doing something, but he's got some trucks he's been driving. So maybe next time we will get him on the show. I want to get back to some Saturdays of this too, especially winter's coming. I think both of our travel schedules will be able to settle down where we can do this. So, the new Tacoma. Let me see if I can bring up a photo of this thing here. Bear with me just for a second. You know, without producer Kelly up here, it gets a little crazy. And I had a photo ready to go, and something messed it up. All right, so let's click this up so we can do this. There we go. All right, so there is the 2024 Toyota Tacoma Trailhunter. Now, in the video, people realize sometimes you only get a limited amount of time at these press events with some of these things like this. You got everybody itching, trying to jump in. I've done videos on this stuff where print journalists will walk right in front of your video as you're doing it. So you gotta kind of hurry along with it. And I called it a Trail Master a few times. Because I was just, you're working on the fly, man. You don't get a lot of time, and this was pretty early on. And I wasn't 100%, not 100% monstered up in this, but I was very impressed with this truck. Now, the Trail Master of the Tacomas. Now, I've said for a while that I would love to do some time in the new Tacoma and have things work out the way they are. We know we have the UAW strike going on right now, but I wanted to, this was going to be our second truck down the line. So I was hoping to do some time with the Ford Ranger Raptor, which I have on order, and no VIN just yet. But obviously the UAW stuff's screwing that up right now. So that's been kind of a bummer. And I wanted to, because this truck will come out this spring. So the normal Tacomas, the normal 4-cylinder turbocharged Tacomas will be out. I think production goes in November. They'll start hitting lots in December. I know our buddy, I believe he said that Tim Esterthal, he's trying to get one early on. And I want to do the TRD Pro. I want to do the best of the best. And I think the SR5 and the Limited is probably the sweet spots of this truck. But till I saw this thing. And now no pricing is out on this just yet. And I've seen from all the feedback in my videos that the video I've done on this thing that, well, people are speculating like crazy what this truck's going to cost. I keep seeing a lot of $70,000 price range. And I just don't buy that one. I don't buy that one because I dropped a video here this morning of us in the TRD Pro Tundra. and I think it was $72,000 to $74,000. So I don't see the Pro of the Tacoma getting in the $70,000 range. I just do not see that. Now, that being said, I do think we're about to see some late 50s, probably 55 to 59 for a TRD Pro. And where does that leave this Trailhunter? Because the Trailhunter, it's an interesting spot for Toyota because it was something they wanted. They are trying to do what others don't. And I've said this many times that Toyota, because they turn such high volume of this truck, they can take chances. And of course, they're bringing back the manual transmission for the truck, which a lot of people are very excited about. But when there's only 5% take rate on a truck like this, 5% of 200,000 sales is better than most brands. They sell maybe 80, 90, 100,000. So as you can see, they're able to sell more and justify it. So whew. Sorry, I had to turn on the old sneeze cam there, or turn off the old mic. But I think Toyota with this truck is they're making a statement. And at first, when I first saw this, I thought, well, this seems gimmicky. This just seems like I've seen a lot of when manufacturers try to put aftermarket style parts on vehicles. A lot of cases they don't seem 100% that I would like to own. Why does it sound like I'm in a soup can? Hold on, I know exactly the problem. Sorry, guys. Audio. Oh man, where are you at? It's because you're getting me from my webcam, which is why. There we go. Let me know if that's much better. It should be much better on that. And I do apologize. So if you're listening to this on podcast, 7 minutes in, you're like, Jesus, his audio is awful. But Paula, you guys let me know if that's much better. It should be much better. Anyways, thank you. So when you sell 5% of a truck, you can afford to, or when you own the market, you can afford to take chances. And like I was saying, this truck's interesting to me because, for one, I think it's cool looking. Don't get me wrong. I think before this truck, I was saying that I thought the Chevrolet GMC Twins was probably the most exciting on the outside. I do love the Ranger Raptor a lot. I like the performance that you're getting from that truck, but it does feel slightly old because we've seen it for over a year and a half now in Australia and the Indonesian markets. But this thing, I don't know. I was a little iffy with the snorkel. Factory snorkels are what they are. They don't call it a snorkel because they're trying to fight the idea that snorkels aren't for high water, and people need to understand that it's for clean air, and that's it. That's the only reason you want to your basically cold air intake is you want to hire to get the cleanest, coolest air possible to make the little turbo engine run properly. And the rock sliders on this thing, which is a funny story. So this truck was just delivered to Toyota proper. And what'll happen is they run trials and they take these trucks out and just beat the piss out of them. And they feedback for manufacturing. That's all it is. The final design of these vehicles are what they are. But it only had one rock rail, which was funny. I don't know if it's a commodity issues that they're, because they're about to ramp up production of this or what's going on. But so you see there is a rock rail on this side. There was not a rock rail on the other side. And it was missing in the back seat. I think it was missing an inverter. And I hated to film that. And there's times like this because as a journalist, you want to report on things, but these are non-issues really because or I know going in that, hey, this truck's not fully fleshed out. It's not complete, but the audience doesn't. And luckily nobody said anything about that in that video that I did. And thank you for all 41,000 of you that watched that video. I do greatly appreciate that. But the sport bar back here with the little molly panels and stuff. When I saw this in photos, it just kind of looked. I don't know. It just didn't look. It looked cheap to me. And then after getting to spend some time with this vehicle, and I have to reevaluate the way I think about this vehicle, and it's pretty legit. I have to say, I got under this vehicle. The off-roader in me wanted to check out the skid plates and stuff. And there's a couple things that I've not heard anybody talk about. And I'll try to point them out if I can. Let's see here.
There's the full gas skid, as you can see there. I like the way it's bent. It looks like it's a fairly big gas tank in this thing. But you got your exhaust here, nothing protecting the exhaust, which they're going to get beat up anyways. But the exhaust, I didn't get a good picture of it for some reason, but the exhaust dumps out right under the rear axle there, which and a lot of people aren't going to understand that if they're not into off-roading, but they are protecting the exhaust tip as much as possible. Now, I presume this is how the finished product is going to look. So till we actually see the final product version or produced version of this truck, I can't say, but it looked pretty legit to me. And it's just all about you ground clearance. You don't want to I don't think I got a picture of the rear exactly, but you don't want to bash that thing up, close it up on the trails, and then you got to go pry the open where you've been dragging it on the rear. But the skids on this thing look all legit. So I'm trying to quickly go through some of these real quick. It looks great. There you can see right here. So there is the exhaust dumping out. That's where the exhaust right there is dumping out. And I think it's smart. I think Toyota knows, they know. I know people love the old FJ Cruisers and they love the Land Cruisers and all that, but they know the truck market so well, what their clients are doing with this, what their customer base does with this vehicle. And this Trailhunter proves it to me. I mean, it really did. It proved to me that these are so well thought out. Now, there's a couple things. This is definitely plastic up in the front here, so that's going to get either ripped off at some point, but you can see the skid plate comes in up under it there to kind of help protect things. The way the bumper is shaped, you definitely see look how this is kind of cut. People were doing that with the last generation Tacoma. They were cutting the bumpers like that. I forget what they called the little hack they did with it. It had like some little ninja name or something. But Toyota is very well aware of how their customers, they track these things all through the years of them. They see how customers are modifying them. And there you go. It's all about approach angle. When you're trying to, climb up a rock or some obstacle that you may have to climb up over, they know, hey, getting wheel contact, the first wheel contact, it means everything. And if you've got this big bumper out here, it's less wheel contact. If you do, you're liable to rip the bumper off. So I was very impressed with this. And something I didn't realize was these LEDs change colors. So the fog lights here, I didn't realize that they turned amber. So you can have them either white, or if you're in a dusty, snowy maybe situation, you can turn them amber to help see a little bit more clear on the trails or wherever you're maybe on the road. Obviously, this has the full LED light bar, the rigid light bar, like they've been doing in the Tundra. I like that a lot. When I first saw that on the Tundra, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. But when I was talking to Toyota about this truck, it made me think Viper Cut. Thank you, sir. But it made me think of, they know their customer base so well. They know that the Overlander crowd is going to want to put light bars on there. And why not have a factory added option to that where, yes, I know people are still going to they're going to want ditch lights and they're probably going to want to do a roof light and all that. But I just thought it was cool that Toyota is so in touch with their customers that they would do stuff like that. And they're using the best products around. I mean, Rigid is the number one name in LED light bars. Now, are these Chinese made Rigid? I don't know. Is this something Rigid stamping their name on? I doubt it. Rigid doesn't seem to, they seem to care about quality, especially if you want quality brands on top of Toyota, and Toyota is always, they're known for quality. So it makes sense, Rigid stamp their, put their best product out there, which, I like. Once again, fog lights to me, especially, it's not something I would go out of my way to put on the front of a vehicle. So the fact that I'm getting this factory option like that was very cool. The headlights, seen a lot of this stuff in person because this was my first time seeing the Tacoma in person. I like quite a bit. I felt like everything was nice, and the build quality of this thing, other than like I said earlier, was missing a couple things. I think that and that's just because they're not in production just yet. But I think it was great. One thing I did happen to notice on these fenders. So I love the wide body look of this thing, and it makes sense they can do injected plastic like this, injected molded plastic. It's pretty cheap. They know their customers are going to beat it up. But I will say I did feel like it was slightly flimsy. I didn't want to, especially with Toyota there, you don't want to be jerking on these things. And, but I think, I might have showed it in my video. Let me see if I can find where I'm talking about the fenders. Yeah, I don't see it popping up real quick. But I want to say they didn't feel not cheap, but I don't know. They didn't feel as I don't know, rugged as maybe I would have liked, and maybe that's something to do with pre-production of them. But once again, I like the fact that you can see. I wish I could zoom in on this. You can see the bolt holes there where it all installs. So it looks like if you were to bust one on the trail, it looks like it should be a pretty easy option to fix on that. And once again, thank you Toyota for putting some thought into that. You know, the days of everybody wanting to the old style fender flares. Can't think of the company used to make them all. That they're getting factory options like this, I think is awesome. Now, will there be some other company come out there and improve this? I'm sure there will be, because that's what the great thing about aftermarket does for off-road vehicles is sometimes the ideas are great from the factory, but maybe not as durable as maybe the aftermarket would. So maybe there'll be some cool aftermarket there. I also like too that they're not these glossy. Something we saw in the TRD Pro of the Tacoma was they're real glossy, and I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of gloss. That's why on our Bronco, if you look at our Bronco, a lot of our stickers and stuff, I don't try to scream out everything we do. And I feel like glossy, especially on if you have a white truck, that black gloss is just, it's just gonna be out there and kind of annoying to me. Now you have a black truck, because I did see at the State Fair, Texas, they did have a black TRD Pro there with the glossy fenders. It looked great. Those look great. I'm not gonna lie, but I think if I were to have a white, red, or something like that, I don't know that I want those glossy plastics. But the wheels on this thing, I could give or take on the wheels. Most people, they're going to want to do their own version of that stuff anyways. So I kind of generally leave that to what people want to do there. I'm trying to see. Let me pull this. Let's pull this off just a minute. We'll check on the doggos there. They're sleeping. But let me find. I don't. For some reason, I didn't take a lot of photos of the interior. Let's see here. Here's a good photo that we'll talk about. Let's see if we got anything else here. We'll start with suspension. So I'll add this here. So the suspension of this thing, man, it's Old Man Emu. It's they're owned by ARB, so it makes sense that they want to use this suspension. Looks great. Those are beefy. Those are beefy upper control arms, so they're built to take a beating. I don't think you're ever gonna have to worry about them bending or anything. The you can see the badging, the Trailhunter badging on the shock inside the coil there itself. That's pretty cool. I actually like that they branded these coils. That I don't know. They're just using the branding wisely on this, and they people want people don't buy high end things because they want to hide the names. You look at any lady that buys a purse or something, a Chanel, whatever. It's part of it is because you want to show the flash of it. And I think guys are the same way with their pickup trucks. They want to be flashy there and show that. Let's see. Here are the rock sliders, and I have to say they look pretty good. I would probably if this is going to be an option, because we don't know exactly yet what's an option and what's not on this truck. But if they were an option, I think I would pass on them and just get a better quality brand out there. I know our buddies over at White Knuckle Off-Road Products will be itching at the bit to make rock sliders for this. These it looks like it's 3/16 plate in between there, but I don't know for certain. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at them, but they look like they're usable. Like you could go take your factory vehicle and go have a lot of fun with it. But if you're going to get into you're going into those, you're in Moab, you're getting into some of those places where you potential to take damage in your rockers. I think I might want something just a little bit better, but anything is better than no protection. And that's on our Bronco that we have. It came with the factory rock rails on it. And as soon as I could, I tried to replace them with something I thought was a little bit better. But once again, the coolness that they're doing this, Toyota in the past has done some stuff like this. I know the FJ, it got some cool rock rails and stuff. The Trailhunter badging I thought was pretty unique. I like it sticks out. It's pretty substantial. And they're badging for the Trailhunter itself. And I said this in the video. I was talking to the Toyota rep there. I said, hey, I thought it was cool that you guys brought the Tundra version out of a Trailhunter. We got, I think it was 2 years ago when that popped out. And you didn't just tease us. You know, a lot of times these companies will call something, you know, the Beastmaster or whatever, and you just never see it. It was a cool name that they just sort of wasted. And I thought it was smart that Toyota didn't waste this. They're using it. And I mentioned this in the video, the little compass. I think that speaks volumes to people who may not understand, you know, all the rock rails and stuff. But when they see like a compass or something like that on the truck, that you instantly, it's like, bam, you know, oh, that's off-road. For whatever reason, I think it's pretty smart marketing on that. Let me pull up here, see if I can find some other stuff to talk about on this thing before we go to the video. I know there's some roof racks coming up on this truck. Here's another side view I'll bring up. And once again, look, no rock rail on this side. It's funny. Something I didn't know, and it's probably because I just didn't catch it in the press release, but they have over here, they have, yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can bring this up. I didn't realize they're putting lights in the beds in the side there. So they're kind of doing like what Ford does with their 360 lighting, and they have it in the plastic of the beds right there. So that's pretty unique. Hopefully it wouldn't be, if for some reason one of those got broken, hopefully it wouldn't be a pain in the butt to fix. But I thought, let's see if I can get a little bit closer on that so you guys can see. You can see there, right there, the two lights. So hopefully that wouldn't be too much of an issue. And not that I ever see a lot of damage on the top of a truck there, but you know, worst case scenario, you never know. Let's see. Dow Dynamics or Rigid Industries. Yeah. Paul Elliott's definitely right on that. KC, you know what's funny with KC lights? They kind of went, when the LED stuff in, they just were sort of late to that party, it seemed like. And they were still stuck in their little old halogen round lights. And but now their new stuff is really good, really expensive though. Warthog Bronco Raptor, 100%, Paul. That was I think that was a something that I think they should have called it Warthog. And I think they should leave the SUV lines to that Warthog branding for that Raptor-ish version. People would have, the word would have caught real quick. But I get it. You got $1 billion name in Raptor that it's already has an audience that knows what it is. So, but Ford did tease us on that one. But the rack of this thing, let's see, there is the Molly panels on the side of the sport bar. I probably would never option that sport bar. I'm not a big fan of how it looks. I understand the purpose of, you know, the Molly racks, because they know people are going to put the Max Tracks, or they're going to put their plastic fuel cans on the side of that. And once again, especially if you're in a truck, you're going out for a week or so at a time. Space is so precious. Way to store something or carry something with you when you maybe just have the bed. Normal trucks, 100% get it. And ARB, I did talk to them about this, the ARB partnership. The ARB developed this stuff because they wanted to, you know, obviously it's mutual for both parties, but they wanted to be able to build parts. They didn't want to just stamp their name on something and just some aftermarket companies building it past them, and they put their name on it and they're making, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars for just, you know, kind of licensing their name. No, and Toyota, they said this as well. No, it was a partnership that they wanted to build parts for this, much like the suspension. They wanted to, they know ARB, when you think of off-roading, man, especially overlanding, they kind of were the, it was Australian company that you wanted those parts on. I remember my old Nissan Xterra. I had to have an ARB bumper on the front of that thing. So thought that was pretty interesting there. I want to see if I got a picture of the bumper. The rear bumper was pretty interesting to me. Let me see. I may not have gotten a picture of that. There we go. I did. All right, so here is the rear bumper of this thing, and let's pull it up where we can see it a little bit better. The tow hooks are mounted to the frame, which I thought was nice. Good touch, smart. I'm glad they didn't weld them into the bumper, and then past that, you're like, oh, well, they broke out. Because let's be honest, at no point does ARB or Toyota want to have to warranty these bumpers out. People are going to go beat them up. That's one thing. But past that, they don't want somebody trying to pull a tree out of the yard or something and rip that thing out of the bumper. So it's attached to the frame there. I'm sure it's super grade 10, 12 bolt, something that you're not going to be able to easily pull that thing out. Cool that it's ARB branded there. I like that. The snob appeal, definitely 100% snob appeal. You got ARB here on the bumper as well. And it's a high clearance. And once again, remember when I was talking about the exhaust, normal exhaust, they'll come out of the sides. I'll find a picture in a minute of a normal one. I guarantee they come out to one side or the other out here, and they've hidden that. So you don't have to worry about you're scraping that off. The bumper is made for high clearance, which once again, I like a lot. They integrated the towing in this because they know people are going to either attach, the bicycle racks or whatever, or they're going to pull their trailer or something like that, which is very cool. Toyota did confirm that it is a 6,500 pound tow rating on this truck, not class leading, but Toyota doesn't always have to go for class leading. Their customer base is so solid with them, and they know their customer base knows that if Toyota's doing something, it's 100%. And I did talk to the rep about that, and he did confirm that it is 6,500, and I liked it. Little plastic grips up here on the top of the bumper, which made it nice. This truck does have like the Tundra. You see the button on the side over here. So if you're trying to get the tailgate down, you can do it there. I believe you can do it from the fob and inside the truck, or you can just push the button and the tailgate will come down itself. Super light tailgate on this thing, which was nice. Past that, it does have a little bit of hint of Tundra to those lights, which there's not that. I do love the Tundra quite a bit, but there's the lighting is not, the rear lighting's not, I'm not 100% on that. So, but the stamping, I was surprised that they continued to stamp Tacoma in the tailgate. And it's because they started that trend with the 16 Tacomas that last generation came out, and everybody's kind of copied them since. And does it bother me? No, because I think Toyota, I like their font they use, and it looks tough and mean. But some of the other companies, they just like the Ranger. Ford has Rangers so big and in your face with that. It's just, I don't know, something about it I don't really care for. But I will say with Toyota, I like it. They didn't have to have, like Nissan or somebody. They didn't have to have their name, just another big logo there. They just integrated it in the plastic. And people know Tacoma, especially truck buyers. You say Tacoma, truck buyer knows that. And I think Toyota's their PR team and people for branding, they're very aware of we don't have to sell ourselves too hard there. I do like the integrated spoiler into this because all trucks have moved to that now. Trying to get the best fuel economy out of this thing as possible. And I had people in that video fussing about the 4-cylinder of this truck, and boggles my mind. And some of it is that people don't understand. They just think, oh, they're all going to 4 cylinders because, that's just how the manufacturing wants to do. No, let's be honest. If Toyota could sell this thing with a V8 in it, they would 100% do it. Or if they could somehow modify the last version of the 3.5 or the old 4-liter engine in this thing, they would do it. But emissions are getting so restrictive on these vehicles that they're having the easiest way to lower your emissions is to lower cylinders. So that's why we're not seeing V6 in this thing. And that's why with the GMC Colorado Chevrolet, that's why they've gone to 4 cylinders in this thing, because the emissions regulations are so restrictive. And I'm scared that with, EV coming along, that we're going to so restrict ourselves with emissions that you're making some of these things a dog. Now, we've seen the horsepower ratings for the normal turbo 4-cylinder in this thing, and they're pretty good. The ratings in this truck were I think 4. I want to say this is the hybrid version. I want to say they were 4 or 350 somewhere in there, which is well beyond what the Ranger Raptor I want's 400 or 396 or something. Well, more than it probably needs, but I'm a horsepower guy. I want horsepower, but I think I think the ratings on this thing, they had to come out strong. And I think with the hybrid version of this thing, they're doing well. And I've said it many times on other shows that I think Toyota is doing the best job at making these trucks a hybrid. And they're not doing it. They could make it strictly a hybrid for fuel economy. And yes, it would probably get incredible numbers, which numbers are not out on this just yet. And there's been some reports coming out that they may hit 30s in this thing, but I think that they're using the electric motors in this thing to help get your horsepower, your torque numbers up, and the foot-pound of torque in this thing was ridiculous. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's ridiculous. It's like a diesel what you're getting out of this thing, and I think that's great. Now with you got a battery pack that you're going to lose some cargo room in that. So there's under the rear seat, the passenger seat of this. So you do lose a little bit of cargo room there, though you can fold the back seats down and you do get a little bit of added space. And Toyota does talk about that in my video. Let me see if I can find that real quick and I'll share that with you. And people were mad too in my review of this truck that we didn't get actually sit in the back of the truck. And I was like, well, it didn't dawn on me to do that. But two, like people were like, well, that just means that they can't fit. Nobody can fit in the back of this thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous. People's complaints sometimes are hilarious to me. But in this instance, it's a small truck, and our buddy over at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk just dropped a good video on, why there's not a ton of cargo room here. But as you can see in this video, there's plenty of leg room there. The seat wraps. Would I want to be a grown adult on a 600-mile trip back there? No. But small kids, short term, hey, we're going to go, for in my case, to Nashville, which is like 30 miles away. We're going downtown. You'd be more than plenty comfortable in the back of this thing. The seats of this thing, I have to say too, unique colors, kind of a weirdish gray, kind of a greenish hue to these seats, which I don't know if will that date the vehicle at some point. Will in 5 years people go, man, that thing looks old. But I love the way the seats look. They are aggressive looking, as they should in this truck. Look at the big thick headrests in this thing. Should be very aggressive looking, and I like what they've done with this. They got grab handles here, which is nice. You're getting in and out of the truck, just makes it easier. And mute this. I don't think you'll hear it, but I want to show when he pulls the seat down right here. There. So this has the JBL audio system in it. So there's a subwoofer back there. But past that, you still have all the cargo room back here. And if you don't get the JBL system, you're going to have more cargo room back there. So there are ways I was talking about the hybrid taking up under the seat there. They have thought of ways of trying to get a little bit more cargo room in there. So, is it always the best option? No, but at least you do get a little bit of space back there. And I found like my Gladiator had a little bit of space like this, and I never wanted to put anything back there, honestly, anyways. Now, with some of the other trucks I've owned, like our Nissan Frontier we had for a while, I did put stuff under the seat, but it was mostly stuff that trail stuff. I had some trail ropes down there, some snatch blocks, stuff like that, stuff I didn't need to get to all the time. So, it's according to what your needs might be. But I thought this was well thought out. I thought, it's Toyota quality, but that people were getting mad that this guy didn't get in the back of the truck. I asked him, I could have sat in this vehicle. Oh, and there's the hole. Look, there's the hole. And I'm pretty sure that's for the inverter. And they probably just didn't have one in the truck, which was a bummer. Like I said, I hate to point that out. I know as a journalist that when I go to these things, there's always little pieces that they might not be at 100%. So don't beat up Toyota over that. But like I said, I could have gotten this truck. I didn't want to sit in this truck until I can really drive the vehicle. I don't want to be kind of teased with like, oh yeah, it sits great. There's been enough people that have said in this when a lot of the press got to go to Hawaii for the reveal of this. A lot of them got to sit in it. They've given their impressions of it. So I just didn't find that to be that interesting for me. Let's see. Back of the truck here once again. Something I've happened to notice that Toyota does well, and this seems to be in their whole lineup, is they use every little bit of space they can. A lot of times you see the brands, they kind of V down a little bit, and I feel like you lose kind of cargo volume back there. And it looks like Toyota's really, everything is just super sharp, flat down. They try to give you as much cargo area as possible, which I thought was cool. Now, this is the composite bottom that they're doing. I don't know a ton about that. I actually need to research that a little bit because it's been around for a while. But anything they can do to lighten these vehicles up, they're trying to. Once again, you got fuel economy coming up. Also, there is a camera up here, which I thought was really cool. so you can actually see your cargo. Our guy here with Toyota was talking about that. If you need to see when the truck's driving, you can turn that camera on and see is something moving around back there. I thought that was cool. It did have a digital a high definition rear view mirror in this thing, and I'm sure it's based around that camera a little bit as well. So that was really nice. You're getting this see, I think he points it out right here. Let's see where you at. Oh, he's about to. This is one of the features that I like quite a bit that Toyota's thought about is air pumps. You need air on the trails. So right here. Now, this is an air compressor. I'm sure it's an ARB of some sort branded. I don't remember looking at it, but built right into the bed. I thought that was really smart. He says it does come with the kit to operate that. Once again, I think that's really cool that you have that kit, from the factory that they know the needs of this truck. And it looks like the compressor's right here. So if you ever need to take care of it, clean it, I would assume there's a little air filter with that compressor. So that it might need cleaned out from time to time, but you can see you're getting a lot of bed lighting in this. You're getting the utility tracks in there, which Nissan and Toyota were the first to do that. I don't like the sport bar, but I do like how it mounts into that. As you can see, this is it's a stamped material, so it's not a solid big block of metal there. Once again, to keep weight down. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You're getting a lot of power too, which that's how new this thing was. He was like, "Oh man," because we haven't taken any of the plastics off. This thing is just, and that literally Toyota told me, he was like, "Hey, we just got this truck 2 days ago, and we had to drive it over here for the press release of this thing." Then you can see you're getting USB, looks like back there as well, which is nice. You're doing something in the bed of your truck. Maybe you need a little bit more cargo space. So I find that to be very cool. I like the fact it's all digital there, as you can see. So that'll be nice. Also on this side, I think it's 1200 watts of electricity you have over here. He'll talk about it in just a second, if I remember right. And thank you for Kelly for shooting this video. She did an excellent job. I was probably the worst part of all this. There we go. Maybe. All right, anyways. But I believe it's 1200 watts. And of course, with the hybrid system that he's like, you can run power tools off of this. It's not like the old 400 watts where you can do some stuff, but you can't do a lot. They mentioned the overland crowd, which this truck's based around. Hey, you've got a coffee maker, whatever you need to operate with a lot of wattage, you should have plenty of power to operate whatever you need when you're away from normal electricity. So I thought that was really cool. You can see I didn't notice that before. Tacoma's stamped in there, just like the Tundra they do. That's pretty cool. Overall, though, I'm really pleased with this vehicle, and I wanted to bring up the question today was, where are you guys at with mid-sized trucks? Oh, doggo has been kicked out of his bed. Cato, got him. The dog hates that cat. Not meanly, just the cat annoys him so much, and the cat just wants to love that dog so much. But I've done time in all of the big trucks now, all the mid-sized trucks, and I have some opinions of this thing. I think styling right now for me would be sort of a toss-up. I do like the Tacoma quite a bit. I'm kind of leaning towards the Chevrolet right now as far as styling. I think it's aggressive. And Chevrolet would be high on my list of vehicles right now had they not just put a normal 4-cylinder in this thing with the power. If they would have done something like Toyota where then maybe they do offer some sort of hybrid line down the line, but had they just kicked up the power somewhat, and people understand, I think a lot of people do understand about the emissions issue, but you can't take and have the previous generation of V6 making what I think it was 307, I think, horsepower, and then this new engine, the whole new platform, and it's making what 310. Like, that's just weak sauce to me. And even Nissan, who was, when they went from the old generation Frontier where it was making 261, I think is what they did. They knew with the new smaller engine, the 3.5 that they're putting in 3.8 they're putting in the Frontier, they bumped it up to 310 horsepower, and that's naturally aspirated. There's no turbos on that truck, and it'll get up and go. And it's paired with a 9-speed transmission. And so the GM probably would be higher on my rankings right now had they put a little bit more horsepower in that truck. Interior wise, I have to give it up for the Toyota right now. And I'm saying this as a guy who has a Ford Ranger on order. I think the interior of this truck, which find a little clip that you guys can see of that real quick. I think interior wise of this truck, it's great. It's well thought out. There's one thing that I can ding it for, and I'll mention it in just a minute. But you're getting that big monitor, aggressive lines all through this truck. As you can see, they just love the hard lines, and I think that fits well with the monitor they put in there. As you can see in the back of this monitor, look at that. There's a USB-C back there, so plenty of charging. This plastic here, it doesn't show well on camera, but it almost reminded me of a countertop. It was very interesting. But there's that green kind of hue to the leather that you can see there, which is they got a lot of colors going on in this truck. But I like the layout of this. I like the big knobs. It does remind me of the Ford Bronco a little bit with those big knobs. I believe they do show the temperature gauges and all some information in there. Of course, this truck's gonna get heated, cool seats. They brought out the premium of premiums. That's what they do on press events. They're not ever going to bring you out the base model, which I did mention to them about that. I did talk to Toyota about that. I was like, in your press fleets, man, I said, sometimes people just want us to review like an SR5, something, affordable. And they're like, I guess it's the cost of getting the vehicles to journalists and stuff. And they're like, by the time the cost, it's just not feasible for us to want to do that. And I was like, I get it. My cap go. I totally understand that. But I said, our viewers would like to see a more based version of this truck. The grab handles of this, it's all Tundra. You can tell, big beefy shifter on that. I like that a lot. They're got it, yeah, right here. I like their crawl control features. It's driver oriented, so you're not searching, you're not having to move around for it. You can see the rear locker button right there. The sway bar disconnect, which Ford brought out with the Bronco. They now have this in this truck, which means a lot. That just being able to, if you've got an independent front suspension vehicle, it's they ride better. They are sometimes more durable, but the fact that you can get a little extra articulation out of these trucks means a lot. So you're not getting completely what an old solid axle could do, but you're getting close. Here's your camera button. Once again, check out what's going on. They do have the 360 cam. So if you're driving around, one thing Toyota does I don't like a lot is the cameras aren't just stopped. It seems to want to move around the vehicle. And until I get to play with that, maybe you can stop it, but I feel like that's been a complaint about it. You have the charging pad up here, which is that's one thing I don't 100% like that they do. Yeah, here's that camera I was talking about. So it just moves around the truck. It's cool that you get a good view around your vehicle, but I don't know, something I would like you to just stop. And as you can see here's a little button where maybe you can pause it. That would be nice on the trail. So you got some obstacle you're wanting to look at. Overall, though, I think the design of this truck's a home run for Toyota. I think they'll do well. Obviously, they'll do well with this Toyota. But had GMC or GM them just gave me a little bit more power-wise, and the interiors of the GMs right now, the high end, the ATX4 that I've been in with the GMC was really nice. The Trail Boss, I was a little disappointed with. I know Andre over at TFL, he's talked about it's a little bit plain, which I would 100% agree. Even the Z71 version of that truck just seems to be kind of plain. A lot of plastic to them. And I don't ding trucks up for plastic because trucks are made to work. So that's one thing. But if you're getting into like a Z71, your higher end vehicles, you just probably expect a little more soft touch. The Ranger right now would probably be third on my list overall. I think what the saving grace for Ranger is that they're putting that 2.7 in there. So you're going to get a lot of horsepower. I think 315 with the 2.7. And in the Bronco, it's at 330 with that same engine with high premium fuels. I think that they'll have a tune for that. I think they know truck market doesn't need horsepower like off-road market always wants. So I think they'll have a tune for that to bring it up, which would be nice. 330 horsepower in a little truck like that would be great. At least Ford is offering a couple motor options, which is a saving grace, I think, for Ranger as well. A lot of people love the 2.3. They love that engine, so that's cool. Well, I guess Ford is getting 3 options if you include the Raptor, but the Raptor is its whole, that's its a whole nother thing. Right now, I think Frontier needs to step it up. I think they need to have a mid-cycle refresh next year for 24. I think they did just enough with the Frontier because we did some testing. We had it last year. I think they did just enough with that truck to make it a little bit better than the competition was. But now the competition's all refreshed, and Nissan needs to step it up. With the Titan going away, Frontier is their truck line, and it'd be a shame if for some reason Nissan would lose the truck line because they didn't keep up with the competition. I've posted pictures. Nissan had a Nismo version of that truck ready to go, which was going to be a Raptor fighter, and they damn need to bring that out. You guys know I've been a Nissan fanboy for quite a while, and I think if they were to do that with this 3.8 and you throw a single turbo on it, making 400 horsepower or close to it, people would take them seriously. Make it the little Warrior. Call it a little Warrior. I don't care what you call it, but Nissan needs to step it up. If we get in another year or so and GM gets the feeling that people aren't happy with this 4-cylinder option, do they add something more? I think they're going to stick with the 4-cylinder, but do they somehow boost it up even more to get the horsepower up? I said it in some of my older videos we did with the when we heard the ZR2 was coming out. Does it get a bigger motor? Does it get something? And they just didn't make that truck, in my opinion, special enough. The saving grace for trucks like that are front rear lockers, very high end suspension system in that. But past that, I don't know. I look at this and I go, okay, it's got the old man Emu. As Paul Elliott was talking about, Ford partnered with Fox. Those are well-known suspension names. Does people look at what Toyota and Ford's doing and go, GM, you're using your in-house development for that stuff? So I don't know. Is it good enough? I don't know. I think it's an interesting time for trucks. I'm so happy where trucks are compared to where they used to be. These are the daily use vehicles. These are your vehicles you go to town in with your family now. These are everything. Sedans are dead. There's not a lot of that. A lot of people still like the little SUVs, but people are moving to trucks. They like trucks. They like the ability that you can do a little bit of everything with them. And the way the interiors are in these, all these new midsize trucks, I think it makes mom, dad, whoever, I think they're proud to get into that, and they don't feel like it's just some old dirty truck. So, and I'm curious where you guys are at with it. Where would you rank the vehicles right now? Leave me a comment. I quite like I said, I like where everybody's at right now. Even Nissan, I was beating up on them just a little bit. I still like where they're at right now compared to where they used to be. But for brands like Nissan, Chevrolet, you cannot rest on your laurels. You cannot just stay there. You're going to have to in 3 to 4 years. We need a mid-cycle refresh. And the Ford Ranger, that's what scares me about that right now, is because I feel like I've seen the interior of that thing for quite a while, even though they're not even on street just yet. Do I feel that when I get my Ranger Raptor, do I feel after a month or so, do I feel like, man, this is old feeling? Because I have the Mustang in my driveway, and the tech of that thing feels so new. So I'll be excited. I will definitely be excited to see how I like the Ranger Raptor if we get one this year. It seems like that seems to be an obstacle with the UAW and all that going on. And speaking of that, even Toyota's nervous about the UAW situation because these third-tier manufacturing companies that make stuff for everybody, they're all laying off people now. And how does that affect the launch of this vehicle? They're wanting to get this vehicle in dealer lots by December. Does now that affect this, or we don't see the normal version of this truck for a while? I don't know. But it's an interesting time for midsize trucks. So in the comments below, let me know what you guys think about this. I'll say thank you to all, a handful of you that's come in today. I know this was sort of a last minute thing, but I'm resting the old foot and I had time to talk to you guys. And I wanted to spend some time talking to you guys. This week we got, Saturday or Sunday, I will have a Dodge Durango video come up. We got to drive the SRT Hellcat in the Durango, and that was one of Kelly's dream vehicles she's been wanting to drive for quite a while. So that's coming up. We did a review on a minivan, which that should be interesting coming up because we just are silly about minivans. I think they're fun. They're not your old Chrysler minivans that they used to be. And past that, Got a Mustang video coming up, taking the old Pops out to drive. And we'll let Pops drive the Mustang and get his impressions of that thing. So what will an 83-year-old man think of a high horsepower, nearly 500 horsepower Mustang? We'll find out about that too. So in the comments below, let me know what you think about this. Leave a like, smash that like button for me. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to us, man. We kind of have a different take on it, or I feel like we have a different take on the automotive world. And we like to have fun. Me and Kelly we love vehicles. So at the end of the day, I think that's the thing we try to bring to the channel is we just love everything. We're not really brand specific, even though we do have quite a few Ford products right now, but we love fun vehicles and love to buy those vehicles, share those vehicles with you guys, and get the press rides of those fun vehicles. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these this Tacoma, they would not let me drive. Trust me, I did ask. It's been your All-Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all. See y'all Monday.